all my followers of darkness, shadows, scavengers, and villainy aficionados. It's a me, Lord of Shadows. And just with that expression alone, I guess you already see, even from the background, what we are going to talk about today. Yes, I said we, because for this special review, I have a very, very special guest with me this time. After a long, long time, he is here with all his absence and everything. And I guess maybe some of you wondered where he is. But anyway, let's just simply move to the point. I'm giving you one of my most favorite Shadow Council members, the FRC himself.
Thank you very much. It is a joy to be back for this brief cameo appearance. But once a member of the Shadow Council, always a member of it. And I'm very excited to be back talking all things Super Mario Galaxy movie. Let's go.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, this is not just our first Super Mario conversation that we had right now. No. We also did our very own Super Mario Brothers movie review back in 2023. So don't worry. I'm going to put in the link in the video description down below so you can see our review of the very first movie itself. So here we are.
I did have wrinkles in that video, and I do now. Just shows you how long it's been.
I mean, the way how the camera is going, like, I mean, it doesn't show. So
thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, here we are. I mean, it kind of feels like a tradition, man. I mean, like, we did the Super Mario Brothers, and now we're doing Super Mario Galaxy. So I guess, like, we're going to have to do the third one as well when the time comes.
Indeed.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I got a chance to see it yesterday, so it's still kind of like fresh in my head. What about you, FRC? When did you saw it?
I saw it Thursday, so a couple of days, but still very much fresh in my memory in terms of what happened, positive and negatives, which we'll get into.
Yeah. Now I have to warn you guys. Sadly, I think like me and FRC are gonna go full on spoilers in this particular Super Mario Galaxy review. So if you haven't seen the movie already, then now is a chance to just simply get up and go right now. Are you still there? You're gone? Okay, moving on. So yeah, basically, before we go with anything, so what is the plot of the Super Mario Galaxy? I mean, come to think of it, what is the plot in general, usually with Super Mario? But anyway, so Super Mario Galaxy, basically, it continues right after Super Mario Brothers, but this time we have a new princess joining the Super Mario movie crew, which is Princess Rosalina. And what is happening to her in this movie? Well, surprise, surprise, she gets kidnapped by none other than Bowser Jr. You thought I'm going to say Bowser Sr., right? No. This time we have Bowser Jr. join our very own mushroom deck of cards. So yeah, Bowser Jr. came out of the shadows, kidnapped Rosalina, and now is up to Mario, the Super Mario Brothers, Peach, Yoshi, and Toad to basically go out from Mushroom Kingdom into the galaxy and try to save her, Rosalina, and stop Bowser Jr. to destroy the universe. And that's kind of basically it. I mean, would you add something else to the summary of the plot?
No. I think that pretty much covers all the aspects of this plot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I loved the first Super Mario movie, because it has a very simple story. You don't have to go so much deeper into the overall summary, So just like with this one. But anyway, before we go into our deep overall review discussion, I want to first and foremost hear your thoughts. Like, basically, what is your in general reaction of the movie?
I think I can sort of use sort of how I feel about this franchise, about this world. I think at the minute, I think superhero, it's not a video game film, shall I say? Video game films are on the up in terms of popularity. I think their appeal, and what was a great thing about the first one, grossed $1 billion worldwide. I know that doesn't mean it's a successful film if it grosses $1 billion, but the appeal was there for people who don't particularly play the games like myself. Yes, I know about these characters. I've played, some here and there, but I'm not a massive gamer in a massive sense. And I think there was such an appeal about this world. The animation was fantastic. So, I think that's a lot of people's appeal. And, word of mouth was massive with that first movie grossing at $1 billion. I think when you look into this movie, though, obviously they've got that star power there. I think the animation was amazing. I think Illumination always takes a lot more risks within their stories and their animation types, but it's colorful, it's vibrant, it's bold. It's an animation style and color palette, which I think, appeals to kids. We're in the audience, we're looking about how the story develops. But if you put a bold colors on the screen, and just has so much fun with it, that's what kids enjoy. It's a kids' movie first, but it also allows itself to celebrate the games. And I think that they did a really, really good job with this one once again of, bringing in new characters, expanding this world. I mean, when you've got the name of the movie being Galaxy, you've got to be ready for a whole host of characters to come in, and they do that exactly. So for me, they are the greatest positives. I saw that from the trailer. The trailer gave me a good idea about where they were going to go with this movie, and I think it delivered on that front. And it just shows you that yes, the Despicable Me films are very popular for Illumination, but I think for me, they seem to take more care, I think, with Super Mario because it's such a beloved game, and they've got that nice balance between, and I think it's probably best to explain it in this context. As you can see from his hat, Lord of Shadows is the fan. He is the video game fan, character of the video games. I'm just fan of the movies. I'm the sort of the newer fan on the side of it, and it appeals to both people. There's a lot of video game movies out there where they just link it to one type of audience. Mario does a perfect job in combining them both, which once again was great in the first movie. It shows here as well with the second one.
Okay. So overall, I mean, with your overall thoughts that you basically shared right now, I mean, I can assume you overall enjoyed it quite a bit.
I enjoyed the movie. It's got faults, and we'll come into that in just a bit. I don't want to start on a particular negative, and I do think that this. I mean, you described my review when I sent it to you as the most positive one you've read yet before checking out the movie.
That's true.
But I've got to give it its credit. Yes, it has its negatives. I'll come on to that, and it has some faults, but overall, let's just take it for what it is. Let's just take it for what it decides to do. It's a video game adaptation that respects the games, and you can't say that a lot about certain video game adaptations. Sometimes they just use the characters for sort of value and appeal, but they don't celebrate the games. You can honestly say, regardless of what you think about this movie, it celebrates the games through and through, and you've got to take that as a positive, massive one.
Yeah, I definitely 100% totally agree with you with everything what you just said about the movie itself and just Super Mario in general. I mean, also to kind of add to your point, this movie also, let's not forget, celebrates 40 years of Super Mario. If there's one thing I have to add about this movie, because after I watched it, because I really had deep thoughts about it, and okay, it's called Super Mario Galaxy. But personally, I kind of see this movie celebrating more the 40th anniversary of Super Mario rather than basically going deeper into the Super Mario Galaxy lore. I mean, sure, we have all these planets and some different elements that were in the games and everything, sure. But I kind of see it more as a anniversary type of movie. Let's just put it that way, So that's one thing I just wanted to add to your point. But also when it comes to me, go ahead.
I don't think, and also what I'll say about that is that I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing to do, because at the end of the day, you had to call this a galaxy film because they go to different planets and they involve everything. The sort of name writes itself within the story, but also to celebrate an anniversary. It was shown very vividly on the screen at the beginning of the movie with the Nintendo sort of advert. So, when it said obviously it just ticked over to 40 years, so you were aware it was the anniversary. But you look at certain film franchises, like you look at Bond. Skyfall is a celebration of Bond being 50 years. We're coming up very, very quickly now to the 50th anniversary of the Star Wars franchise. Let's see how they celebrate that. Sometimes when you look at things like that and you just go, oh, it's an anniversary, it shows in the movies that they could have released this movie last year, but would it have the same impact because it's 39 years? At the end of the day, they're not silly. They know when the anniversaries are coming, and they know just when to market these movies at the right time. So, firstly, for me, I completely agree with what you're saying. When an anniversary comes, your movie's going to celebrate what's come beforehand and put it into a film.
Yeah, because like even though I will say right off the bat, even though throughout the entire movie you literally have like a fucking like El Dorado of Super Mario Easter eggs. Like you have them all over the place. I mean, we had them in the Super Mario Brothers movie, but in Super Mario Galaxy, it's like twice the Easter eggs than we have in the first movie. They're all over the place. And the reason why I said it centers more around the 40th anniversary, because there's a lot of things in it about the Super Mario franchise in general, rather than concentrating on the actual Super Mario Galaxy storyline. I mean, sure, like I said, there are planets. We have Princess Rosalina. We have the Lumas. We have some elements from those games. But but also at the same time, I see it more as an anniversary movie rather than a Galaxy movie. But again, for me personally, it's not a bad thing. For me personally, I don't think it's a bad thing, which kind of brings me to my overall thoughts about it after I seeing it. I mean, first and foremost, when I went into the theater, I went like all excited because I was really looking forward to the Super Mario movie. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest here. Like my jam, my thing. I'm more of a PlayStation guy. Okay, I'm more of a PlayStation guy. Crash Bandicoot, Sly Cooper, Spyro, Rayman, Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Dexter. Those are like my characters. Like those, especially Crash Bandicoot. But also, I do have to acknowledge that I am a Super Mario fan, as well. Because there's all sorts of stuff, besides him in Nintendo that I also really, really enjoyed. So that's when I get also into the perspective as well. But overall, so yeah, I went in basically pumping with excitement. Let's put it that way. And and after seeing the movie, honestly, my thoughts were basically this: it gave me exactly what I wanted. Like a super fun time at the theater. Very simple story, easy to follow. I mean, it's Super Mario. I mean, it's not like we're gonna watch the Schindler's List or something. So of course you're gonna have simple stories and everything. But yeah, it gave me like great characters, old and new. The soundtrack, the super fun time at the theater. A lot of these elements that I had even when I watched the trailers, it just gave me exactly what I want. So I went out like really satisfied. I mean, look, like you said, it's not a perfect movie. So does it have flaws? It does have flaws. And I have, and even I have like some negatives, even though for me, I kind of look at it more as like nitpicks. But, but overall, it's not a perfect movie. And I will also add this. Do I think, it's, lower than the first movie, or do I think, it's on the, much more better than the first movie? No, I personally think, they're both like on pair. Basically, I think they're both like in a tie when it comes to all the elements and everything. But yeah, overall, my overall like first reaction, I would say, it was a really super fun time at the theater, and that's basically with Super Mario. That's all I'm asking. And I just wanted to add one more thing. I think I mean, usually I don't watch reviews or read them. But I personally think that what the critics have been doing with this movie, I think like the reviews, not just with the critics, but even some like hotshot YouTubers, I think like their point of view on Super Mario Galaxy, I think it's a bit harsh. I think that I think I think that they're looking way too deep. They should with Super Mario Galaxy, because like this is the type of movie that for me, you just simply turn your brain off and enjoy the ride, and that's literally what I did. I mean, what do you think about that? The last thing I just said.
But I think it's hard. I mean, since I've sort of moved away from YouTube reviewing, I've sort of tried to watch movies in that sort of way where I'm just enjoying them for what they are. I think the stakes of this movie and sort of a wider sort of conversation about films and animations, and at the end of the day, I think this film is doing what it sets out to do. I think it has that, like I said earlier, has that great balance of celebrating the game's 40th anniversary, massive franchise. It's celebrating that, but then it's also kind of bringing in new fans and introducing this sort of younger crowd to these sort of Mario games and that concept and that idea, where a lot of people now are going to probably go and play a Mario game based on the film rather than the other way around. I think animation, works for this world. I think live action, they tried it didn't work, regardless of what you think about their movies. I think movie reviewers and people who do write their movies are looking at it more. They're not fans. They're looking at it from a movie side of things. They're looking at, they probably are looking at, like you said, it's not a perfect movie. We know that, we understand that, but we're looking at the positives from a gamer perspective because it's a video game adaptation. I think a lot of people now, I say, we don't need to know every source material. We're looking at the quality of the movie. I don't think it is a bad movie. I've seen worse video game adaptations. I've seen worse animations. I think that's what you've got to do. You've got to compare it that way. I agree with you. I think he's on par with the first one. I think the first one, probably because I've watched it a few more times, I'd like to watch this movie again, maybe in a couple of months, and just sort of see whether my opinion changes. I think that's a big thing nowadays with films. So I would say that the first one for me is slightly above, but at face value, at the first time I watched it, I would still put them on par. So it's not dropped off. Sequels are very hard to do. So, as we all know, personally, I think that they've got themselves to that on par level, and it's hard to beat a movie. I mean, I pose a question back to you, good sir. Our first movie grossing $1 billion worldwide is a massive achievement. Could you see this movie grossing $1 billion? Because honestly, word of mouth isn't great for this film, so I don't think so. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad movie. It's just word of mouth.
Well, the thing is, look at the numbers. Like in just 3 days, worldwide, Super Mario Galaxy achieved over $100 million. It already went over the $110 million budget that they had. So in just 3 days, they reached $100 million. So that, I have no doubt that the movie is going to reach $1 billion. I have no doubt that it's going to do that. And also at the same time, even the word of mouth, the bad word of mouth, usually, like I said, usually comes from the critics. But when it comes to the audience and everything, the majority of what I've seen, they love it. I mean, like, just look at, for example, the popcorn meter on Rotten Tomatoes. It has like a 91%, which is great. Cinema Score, it gave it an A-, which is again a really great grade. I mean, all Illumination movies always had like A-. I think like Sing 2 was the only one who had like an A+, I think. So yeah, I mean, so the audience really enjoyed this movie, and I think like that's the kind of like the energy and the overall fuel that's gonna keep the movie go towards $1 billion, because I definitely think it's gonna achieve 1 billion for sure. But anyway. I mean, like, but like I said, the only thing I just wanted to add is that I think like the critics, like, I think like that they're treating this movie too harshly because, like, I mean, I don't know, maybe they're trying, maybe they think that every single movie they go watch, they're gonna, it's gonna be the next, I don't know, Godfather or Schindler's List or Titanic or Avatar, I don't know, but people saying like, no, they know, like, it's a children's movie, like they come prepared. Well, for what I've seen, it doesn't seem like that. They come prepared, honestly. I'm just saying that people, when they go see these movies like this, they need to have an open mind. That's all I'm saying. I'm not criticizing, I'm not jumping the gun. I'm just simply saying. Anyway, moving about the rent and everything. Yeah. So my next question is this. Okay. So first and foremost, this is kind of like a shared conversation, but first and foremost, we cannot deny that the animation and the colors is pure gold. Illumination, like almost with every movie they did ever since Despicable Me, like they really achieve the impossible. Basically, with every single movie, the animation gets better and better and better. So with the animation, that's like one of my first positive things I have. It's just simply beautiful and really detailed for the style the Super Mario is and everything. Do you agree with me, or you have personal other thoughts?
No, I was sort of nodding my head as you were saying that. You look at the photo, that's the backdrop there, and that just shows you. Look at all the incredible colours that are on that still on that photo. I think for me, and you obviously did say it was a spoiler review, the scene with the stars sort of going over at Princess Peach's party was probably the standout for me in terms of how that colour palette worked. I thought Bowser Jr.'s planet, whoever decides to own that thing, I think that really showed sort of they used the great sort of colours to sort of show the villainy in that sense. And I think they just made a lot of great creative choices with the colours, utilize that as much as possible. Because like I said in my sort of opening thoughts on the film, yes, this movie appeals to people who love the games, but also they appeal to young kids who, at the minute, in terms of films, don't really have a lot of choice. So they're going to go and check this movie out. And as soon as you see all them colours, they're like that. That's what you want for that sort of audience, is that the colours sometimes, that's what kids are more focused on than a really interesting story. And I think that just shows that this movie, I think animations are starting to pick up on that now. You saw with Moana from Disney, Wild Robot from DreamWorks, which I think is still unbelievable in terms of the animation and the color palette for that. I love that movie. And also, like you said, Sing, use the colors, Sing 2 more than the first one, but still love their movies. I think now animations are really focusing on bold colors can make the movie fantastic, even if the story's a little bit faltered. Not saying that this one is, but I'm just saying it enhances it.
Oh no, I totally agree. Like I said, I'm not talking simply the movements and the detail in the characters, but the overall world building, like all the colors, the planets, the stars, like I said, the lumas, like even the animation in the fight scenes, like it's just so beautifully well done, really beautifully well done. So which also kind of brings me to another question. Okay, so which I think I asked you that when we were doing the Super Mario Brothers, but who would you pick as your who would you pick as your favorite character in the movie?
That's hard because there's a few of them for many different reasons. I think Yoshi was good. Did he get a bit repetitive? Yes, but there's only so much you can sort of do with that type of character. He's a little bit like a Groot in that sense, where there's only so much you can kind of do, and yeah.
He's like that in the games as well. So
I know. So it's one of them where if you try to give him a bit too much, you can't really say he's the best character, but also you got to say that he was good because he's with the limited amount he did. And I did say that Donald Glover was one of the best ones. I would say probably Bowser Jr. I think Bowser Jr. had a lot to do, I think, to work alongside Bowser's great voice of Jack Black. And I think that contrasted really well. Had a great character journey, sort of development with it. Fox McCloud was good. That's one of my negatives about him, a little bit about the film, but we'll get into that in a minute. But I think probably, yeah, I would say probably Bowser Jr. for me.
Honestly, we are on the same boat this time because
Yeah.
Bowser Jr. for me was also my favorite character of the movie. Man, like I mean, I'll be real here, okay? When I was playing the games, if it's like Super Smash Bros. Or like I think he was also in Super Mario Party. I'm not sure, but anyway, I never cared about Bowser Jr. Okay, I never cared of him. Like because I never cared about him because I always kind of categorize him as sort of like a mini version of Bowser. Kind of like Bowser having a mini me by his side, basically. And but this movie, oh my god, like this movie, it made me such a big fan. Oh, it looks like FRC is off the subject. Looks like maybe he doesn't like Bowser Jr. that much. No, but yeah, but anyway, yeah, out of all the characters, I mean, every single one of them, I would say they were really good. But Bowser Jr. really knocked it out of the park. I like everything about it, from the voice, the character, his relationship with Bowser, his own father, Denny Safdie voicing him like he was. I mean, Denny Safdie, like the voice behind Bowser Jr., he was so good voicing that character.
Yeah,
he was really good. Even like I love this villainy. I love this humor side of him, basically. But the point I'm trying to say is that throughout this entire movie, I now became officially a fan of Bowser Jr. When I was playing the games, I didn't give a rat's ass about him. Now I do. Now I really do, because he was really good. Now, the second that comes closest of my favorite characters is the one that you're not a big fan of, and that is Fox McCloud.
I'm going to defend this. He is a good character. The thing that got me with him, and correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't know that he was in the movie. Did you know that he was in the film?
Yes, and I tell you how. Because the Nintendo and Illumination, they released an official character poster of him.
Shouldn't have. And no, that's not based on the character. That's not based on the performance, because I like Glenn Powell, great casting choice. But that could have been a big oh my god! And they just ruined it.
I know.
It was poor marketing. I don't want to knock. It's not the movie down for me. I just think it was really, really poor marketing. I think it was almost like Nintendo was like, I can't keep the secret in any longer. If they kept that hidden, that could have created a massive oh my god, because like you said, it was a celebration of Nintendo. It had, so what they tried to do was obviously bring in a character from them. That could have been so much better for so many people if that was kept as a secret. So I like the character, like the casting choice. He had a good role in it, but why did they reveal it? I don't get it. It's like they almost sort of like, it's almost like, I can't hold this secret in anymore. Just relax. Just don't release a poster. You don't need to. It wasn't reliant on this sort of oh, we need to have this. Keep the ace in the back pocket. Throw it down. You might win the jackpot. But there we go.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with your gambling point of view. No, I mean, I totally agree. Literally, first and foremost, when I saw his character poster, I literally thought it was a fan-made poster. Literally, I thought that some fan made it. But then I started seeing Nintendo released it. The Super Mario Galaxy official Twitter page released it. Illumination confirmed it. Then they confirmed who's gonna be behind the voice. I mean, I was like, what? I was like, what the hell is going on? I mean, look, it got me excited because I'm also a big Star Fox fan. I really love these games. Like almost everyone else on Earth, my first ever introduction to Star Fox was Star Fox 64, and that's when I fall in love with the character and the overall world. And I was so happy. Oh my god, he's gonna be part of the Super Mario Galaxy. That's great. I was really excited. But I do agree with you on this one. They should have kept it as a surprise. They really should. I know. Look. One of the things I will also say that surprised me, because at first I thought that he's going to have a cameo or something. No, he was a major player throughout the entire, since the part he first appeared. He was a major player. And by the way, I just want to say his backstory told in an anime style animation that was brilliant. That was
So
fucking brilliant. So good. And I love how they introduced his team. I love that. Like, oh my God. And I think it's a great idea that they put Fox McCloud, that he's coming from a different from a different galaxy, basically.
Yeah.
I love that.
They could afford to do that, can't they? It's not like it feels forced.
Exactly.
Like if they made that the opposite decision and say like, oh, he's part of this galaxy, you'd be like, hey, like, hang on a minute. So like it opens up to more storytelling. That part's intelligent, but putting him on a poster for a movie when really, like, no one's going to go there. I'm purely going to this film to see Fox McCloud. No, you could have kept that secret very, very well. People would have watched Mario and would have been surprised. They'd be like, that's amazing. It kind of robs people of that moment, I think. I think it's like, I don't know much about the character, but I think it just robbed that sort of moment of like, oh my God, like it had so many characters in here that could have been, like I said, something that was a bit of an ace in their back pocket. I mean, but it's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I get you. I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, I would have even accepted it if, for example, Nintendo came out and said, "Oh, we released the poster by accident," and then they had no choice but to do it. So I was like, okay, it might happen, whatever. But I think they did it on purpose. But anyway. But basically, I just wanted to tell you that since you were wondering about Fox McCloud, he's basically a Nintendo version of Star-Lord, basically, as a Fox.
Cool.
That's kind of like the easiest way I can describe him, because he's a very like a millennial character, basically. So anyway, but besides Fox McCloud and Bowser Jr., I mean, don't get me wrong, like all the characters for me were great. Every single one of them. Also, like, and also I would say, I know that a lot of people will not agree with me, but I'm actually okay that Princess Peach was actually a bit of a center in this movie, honestly, because like in the first movie, Super Mario was the center. Like Mario was the center because of Luigi, and he came for the first time, Mushroom Kingdom and all that. So I'm kind of okay with Princess Peach being kind of like the center. And honestly, we actually got an origin story about her, because I don't know how much you're familiar with her in the games, but they never actually revealed her origin story. They never actually wrote anything. The only closest thing that we got, I think, was like on Yoshi's Island game. We got like that she was a long resident of Mushroom Kingdom. That's the only thing we got about her. Nothing else. So, but anyway, like so for me, all the characters, and also one more thing I have to mention. Now, we all agree, Bowser Jr. and Bowser's relationship, father and son, like that was cool. That was kind of adorable in a very twisted way. But also one thing I was really happy about it is that we also got a lot of Super Mario and Luigi moments. Finally see them as the Super Mario Brothers. Like that was really, really good. And I know you said like Yoshi was like so for you, but he was also one of the best characters in the movie for me. Like, I mean, that
he was
okay.
fine. He was,
but
he
you
was
had
fine.
to.
It was that.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Danny Glover was a great voice, great choice for it. It was fine. It was just, it was like, right, okay, so you eat everything. And then like you potentially, but the characters that like need to stay around, you lay an egg, and it's just sort of like, okay, right, okay, and like even to the point where like I kind of resonated. I felt very strange about this when like Toad said, "Oh yeah, Yoshi's here," and I'm like, "Yeah, he's still here and still doesn't do a lot." Like it was just a little bit kind of just like, okay. I think it was the big setup at the end of the first one that kind of made me think, okay, but this is where they're going with it. But it was fine. Like I said, it was absolutely fine. There wasn't a problem. If you took him out, would it make much of a difference? Probably not. Should something else have been the end credit scene apart from him hatching the egg? No. I think it could have been something else, but you know what? I mean, Bowser Jr. could have been the end credit scene at the end of the first one. I think that would have worked probably a bit better in hindsight. But yeah, he was absolutely fine.
Yeah, but the thing is, like when you have the Super Mario Bros, the and you have Princess Peach, you have Toad. The very first step you have to do is to introduce Yoshi, because like he is one of the main members of the Super Mario Brothers team. So
we knew Yoshi was there anyway because they were in the first one, weren't they? So I just thought hindsight's a wonderful thing at the end of the day, and I think Bowser Jr. could have potentially been a bit of a better end credit scene, but look, it was fine. He was in it. I had no problem with it.
No, that's fine. But you also have to admit that the whole Yoshi montage in Brooklyn that was hilarious.
I got slightly worried that they were trying to reenact a rap video of like. I was very worried he was going to start like think he was.
I can kind of see that.
Like a New York gangster. I was a bit worried he was going to end up as like a New York gangster, but yeah, no, it was a good moment to sort of like quickly tell a backstory. It was like, yeah, it was quick, it was sharp. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it was so hilarious. Like you basically see him from the back, like walking, and then like each and every time a new street, a new place, a new road, every single time, And the first thing I was wondering, like, wait. He's just simply freely with relaxation. He's simply walking on the streets of Brooklyn. I mean, he's a freaking dinosaur. Like how people are not reacting. And then I was like, oh right, the whole business with Bowser, Donkey Kong, and everyone in Brooklyn from the first movie. Yeah, I guess like people got used to it. Seeing crazy creatures. But I thought it was kind of cool to see the cameos of like Spike and Donkey Kong. I thought like that was kind of cool overall. But so besides that, I need to ask you also one more thing. I mean, how much you're familiar with the origin of Princess Rosalina?
Not really.
Okay, so basically, and that's like one of the biggest spoilers of the movie, which kind of goes with Princess Peach's origin. And before I go to, and you know what? Before I go to that, I want to ask you, what did you follow Princess Peach origin story?
Yeah, it was good. I think it was necessary because, I mean, anybody who kind of watched the first movie knows that they kind of hinted at that a little bit. I think there was that sort of appeal with Mario, was that like, oh, you're a human, so was I, and I don't really know, but I'm kind of accepted by these people. And yeah, when you put in that position, straight away, it's almost like it's very easy for characters to go, well, this is all I've known, I'm a princess. But I think there was that sort of dilemma there. I wasn't expecting that to be a story point of this movie, but I'm glad they did it. I'm glad that they kind of touched on it in a really subtle way. It wasn't like a massive takeover.
No.
But yeah, it was necessary. It was needed. I think they had, like you said, like you just informed me, they don't really touch on it on the game. So I think they had that more sort of creative freedom with that. And like, okay, how can we explore it? Obviously linked it in with, two princesses in one movie. There's got to be something up with that. There's got to be some sort of link, and they link it very well. So I think that was probably their biggest creative decision that they made in the film, where Illumination was thinking, right, how do we handle this? We touched on it nicely in the first movie. We could explore it a lot more in the second movie. So yeah, I think they did a good job with it.
Okay, fair enough. Because I'm really happy to hear you say this, because the Princess Peach part is fine, but I think like I think like one thing that I think will divide the Super Mario fans will basically the changes they did of Princess Rosalina's backstory. Because first and foremost, like I just have to say first and foremost that Rosalina and Princess Peach in the game are not sisters. They're not sisters. They're completely different characters. And Princess Rosalina actually had a mother who, when she was very young, she lost her, and then basically that's how she became the adoptive mother of all the Lumas and everything. But in this version, they're basically making them look like basically two Eves in a way, like two Eves who created life, in the galaxy or in the universe, basically. Which which is perfectly fine with me. But I know that there's gonna be a lot of people divided with this, but overall, yeah, I would say them being sisters, I'm completely fine with that. And I kind of am in general happy with Princess Peach actually kind of have an origin story finally. Like that's one thing I also have to mention. Now, before we go to negatives and everything, one of the other things I also have to mention: this movie has a lot of action sequences. It is filled with kick-ass action, and man, I know there's gonna be. I've seen a lot of people complaining about being filled with action, but honestly, I loved every single one of them. From the very first fight with Princess Rosalina, all the way until the final battle between Bowser Jr., Drybone Bowser, and Super Mario and Luigi and the others. For me, the action sequences were really awesome. I don't know about you.
But that's ironically, that's one of my negatives slightly, because I am in that camp where I think no, look, I'm all for action. I'm all for action sequences. I'm all for the creativity of the action sequences, because I do think that they utilize that really well. One of my favorite action scenes was Peach and Mario going through sort of the challenges of Bowser, and then it on his screen it looked like a video game, and then it kind of cut to the animation style. I thought that was really cool, really great, but it was too much. It was too many action sequences, one after the other after the other. I think in certain moments there, I just said, right, chill out with the action sequences, sort of regroup, recover from that, and then sort of then build towards the next one. I think it was just like action, action, action. And I just think they needed that time to sort of slow down. I think the pacing of this movie in so many times was just so, let's get it over and let's chuck this character in here, that character in there. And I'm like, slow down, appreciate, certain plot moments, certain story moments. I just think it felt very sort of like, right, let's race to the next thing, because we only have a limited amount of time. I think they could have just slowed this movie down a little bit, kind of worked on certain pacing issues. And like I said, I think all the action sequences were great, but probably have that sort of gap in between, that sort of bridge between one action scene to the other, sort of let the sort of the audience sort of have a bit of a break, have a bit of a story moment for the characters, and then build it into the next one. I think like I said, the action sequences were great. My favorite was that the transition one between the game on the screen that Bowser was watching, and then this sort of
yes,
animation.
Yeah,
so good. That was probably the best one. But I just think I was like, let's just chill out a minute, have a break, recover, it's like have a drink, have a bite to eat, and then go back. But no, it just needed to slow down a little bit, and I just think they were too quick, they were too rushed. And for me, I think the pacing, particularly in that middle half, I just thought you need to just slow down a little bit. But they did it. It was like, right, let's just get this movie done in because we've only got this certain time frame, and then we'll get, and then we'll sort of get to the end. That was they're my two biggest negatives. I think was the pacing, and potentially the action sequences were just one after the other.
So basically, I had no problem with the action sequences. I felt like they were all pretty badass and everything. And I'm more like an action guy myself, so I didn't mind that when it comes to action sequences. But I will agree partially about one thing, and that is that at times, not all the time, at times the pacing felt really fast. So partially I will agree that at some points, I'm not going to say the entire movie, I would say partially, there were some pacing issues where basically it felt like, we're moving pretty fast. Like, okay, now we're on this place, now we're on this location, now we're on that location, all over the place. Like at times it felt fast. I will agree on that. But also one of the things also a lot of people had a problem with is that Princess Rosalina didn't have too much screen time.
She
You
didn't.
know, yes, but here's the thing with me. Because of the fast pacing, I actually even hardly noticed that she wasn't that much in the movie. Like basically, like basically the way how it was moving, I was like, okay, at the beginning we saw her. She got captured by Bowser, and then it passed a little bit of time, and they're like, oh, okay, she's right back on the screen, and it felt that it felt like 1 or 2 minutes passed, basically, not like 10 or 8 or 9. But honestly, but even for me, Princess Rosalina having not too much screen time for me actually didn't bother me that much because first and foremost, she was a rescue target. First and foremost, she was a rescue target, just like Luigi was in Super Mario Brothers. And even Luigi in the first movie didn't have a lot of screen time and didn't have a lot to do. So that's for me the reason why I don't complain about Rosalina being too little in the movie for me personally. But overall, I will say this: Brie Larson did a really good job as Princess Rosalina. And I will even add to this: when Princess Rosalina is basically on the move, let's put it that way. When Princess Rosalina is on the screen, she is a freaking badass as a princess. Like she is great. And Brie Larson did a phenomenal job when it comes to the voice acting. She really did. So, I mean, overall, in general, like I said, my only complaint, partially what I agree with you is the pacing. Everything else for me was all right. I mean, people saying that the movie didn't have a story. It did have a story. The only thing it is simple. It was a simple story, easy to follow, But also, I have to say one thing. I disagree on some level. I disagree that there was no breathing room. There were times where actually you can kind of breathe, in the movie, even though, okay, it lasted maybe 30, 40 seconds, not maybe a minute, not maybe a minute or two. But, but yeah, there were moments like, for example, when you had the moments between Mario and Luigi or Princess Peach and Mario, like they're hitting the ground, like for example that scene and everything. Like there were some green rooms, but again, I'll agree they were short, but there were. And also one last thing I have to mention: the soundtrack. The soundtrack was phenomenal, and I'm really happy that this time they didn't have licensed music basically playing in the background. Like this time they actually gathered not simply the Super Mario music, but also we had the Star Fox theme music in the movie. Especially especially when played when he appeared for the first time. So that was really great. Whoever did whoever was the composer for the soundtrack, he needs a raise. He needs a raise. Okay, he needs a raise in his paycheck. Because he was really, really good. Yeah. And also, just for the last thing, I just want to say, every single voice acting role, they all did a great job. Chris Pratt was great. Charlie Day was great. Anna Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, she was really good. Toad was good. Like all the voice acting, when it comes to that, I have no complaints. I mean, what about you?
No complaints. Some are better than others. Personally, I think Brie Larson, I'm just not a big fan of her as an actress anyway. But she was okay. She was fine. I think the only slight negative I have to add on to that before we sort of wrap it up is, and I'm going to sort of use your own words against you here. I just think in a minute, I look at this series and go, what's next? Where can you go next? I think if it goes down the line of celebrating Nintendo, endless possibilities. But that's what you said when we spoke about it on Messenger. You said on message, you did say that, so that's why I'm using your own words against you. Look, it's not my job to write the next one. I will go and watch it based on my fondness for the first two. So it's fine. It's not my job. It's not my responsibility. But let's see if they've got any more characters that they can kind of put in the bag here. Because, like I said, if you'll blink, you'll miss it. You might miss 5 characters that sort of in this movie. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I will tell you one thing. I think I know, especially with the post-credit scene, I think I know where they're going in the next movie. And I can give you that with one title. Super Mario Land. I think... Go ahead.
There we go. So there we go. It's sorted. It's sorted.
Yeah, Super Mario Land. And I think now, we're finally going to see Wario. And the reason why I'm saying this is because in Super Mario Land, I think 2, he's the main villain. So
okay,
yeah, and also I just love how Charlie Day said that he would love Danny DeVito voicing Wario. Oh my god! I mean, I can see
it works. It works. Yeah, it works.
Actually, it could work. But anyway, to kind of also shortly go with the post-credit scene. So the mid-credit scene basically was an aftermath with Bowser and Bowser Jr. being in prison, and also that crazy Loomis, seeing her return. I thought like that was priceless. I thought she was like hilarious. But
she's like Odyssey. She's like the Jar Jar Binks of Super Mario, where just no one likes her. She's so annoying.
I mean, just few syllables, and you'll be depressed for all eternity.
It just made me feel great after a bold and colourful film with so much light and positivity, and then that thing shows up, and I'm just like, you are Jar Jar Binks of Super Mario. You're just the most annoying thing I could ever witness.
Yeah, but I don't know if you agree with me, but I think with the mid-credit scene, especially the Star Fox part, I think that actually could be a tease for a Star Fox movie.
Yeah, definitely. There's no doubt. I think it's got great star power. A lot of people are talking about it from this movie. A movie or a TV show. I hope it doesn't go down the notes of our favourite TV show, Knuckles, where you just force another character to have its own project and it be completely different. Don't get me started with that. Honestly, that is the most painful show I've ever watched.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it could definitely be a film, absolutely.
Okay, but overall, it was a very, traditional mid-credit scene. But I definitely think we're definitely going to see a Star Fox movie because absolutely, like first we got the news, a new Star Fox game is going to come out when they reveal the character poster for him for the movie, and I can guarantee you, it's a matter of months that we actually got the announcement that a Star Fox movie is in development in Illumination. I can bet anything, and I'll be open for it, and I'll be all for it for that. But the post-credit scene. Now I don't know how much you're familiar with this character, but basically we got a new character coming to the crew, which of course is also one of my least favorite characters in the Super Mario universe, Princess Daisy. She is now coming to the Super Mario family, and she's the reason, after long thinking, I think she's the reason why I think we're going to get Super Mario Land in the third movie. I mean, what did you thought the post-credit scene with her revelation in general?
Yeah, it was fine. Like I said, yeah, that's a clear sort of structure. I think they obviously had the mid-credit scene, which was a bit of fun, a bit of lightheartedness, and then obviously you had the post-credit scene where it can easily set up a third. There has to be 3. I mean, if you can churn out 4 Sonic movies, you've got to do 3 of these. They're a lot more profitable, but and a bit better quality, to be honest with you. But I definitely think that it's got a clear plan for the third one.
Yeah, and I'm just only hoping that they do not make Princess Daisy as Princess Peach and Rosalina's sister, like third sister, because I think that would be too much.
Yeah, it'd be like the Princess Collection. Forget the Princess Diaries. It'd be like the Princess Collection.
Oh my god. Now, anyway, I mean, I was a bit disappointed it wasn't Wario that they revealed, but But with Princess Daisy being revealed, it gives me hope that we're finally going to see Wario in the third movie. I'm
release
cross my
that.
fingers.
They'll release that on a poster or something. They'll release on a poster.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. And with that being said, what is basically your overall rating from 1 to 10?
6.
Okay.
I give the first one a 6. I can't put it up to a 7. So for me, I like the first movie better after rewatch. I'm hoping that I'm sort of a little bit in that same camp where I hope that I like this movie a bit better on rewatch. So I give the first one a 6. It stays a 6. So this one's a 6.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I will say this because even though I was like a bit geeking out when we were talking about the Super Mario Galaxy movie and everything, I still also reviewed it as a movie as well. So I'm kind of seeing it in basically from 2 different posts, basically. So as a Super Mario fan, I mean, of course, I would have literally rating it maybe like a 9 or a 10 out of 10, basically. As a Super Mario fan, okay, 9 or a 10 out of 10, maybe 9.5. However, as a movie, as a Super Mario Galaxy movie, my rating, I think like my positives are way more stronger than my negatives, because like I said, my only issue was the pacing, basically. But and maybe I do agree. Maybe there's some action scenes they could have cut out. Maybe some, not all of them. But I'm so glad I didn't cut out that casino one, because the casino fight scene with Princess Peach, that was so badass, mind blown. Anyway, so my rating would go. Okay, I will basically go this. If maybe Fox McCloud wasn't in it, I would say an 8 out of 10. But because of Fox McCloud, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I know there's going to be some people saying I'm nuts, but yeah, as a moviegoer, I'm rating Super Mario Galaxy an 8.5 out of 10. And that is my final rating.
Is this the best film you've seen this year?
So far,
like new releases.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, so far it's a tie. Okay, so far it's a tie between Super Mario Galaxy and the 28 years later, the Bone Temple.
See, I didn't like that.
No, it's okay. We all have different tastes. That's okay. So basically, it's a tie between those 2 movies. Yeah. So I mean, it's too early for me to kind of like rank it at the top or something. It's too early. Yeah, but overall, that's my overall rating, and I think we can conclude our Super Mario Galaxy review in general. And with that being said, here we are done, guys. Rate the video, comment, like, subscribe, give your personal thoughts, and if you have seen the Super Mario Galaxy movie already, what did you feel about the characters, what did you feel about the story, the action sequences, the animation, everything about Super Mario Galaxy movie in general, just put in the comment section down below. Until then, stay tuned for more, and as always, Lord of Shadows, signing off.
Well, thank you very much for having me on. It's been really great. I mean, I've had a bit of a break from reviews and stuff like that, so it's been nice to come back on. Probably the next time you'll see me is when the 3rd movie comes out. We have to make this a tradition. But no, thank you very much for having me. FRC, signing off.
Or as I love to say, later, fuckers.